Okay, so what are you doing today?
We are on the road today. And why are we on the road?
Well, I'm hoping it's to find some stuff for our house.
It is. We are sourcing materials for our home build. So come along with us.
Hello, I'm Chad,
And I'm Grace.
and this is our dog Queen.
And together we are
Two gringos and a dingo.
So, we went around the countryside looking for our finishes for the house. How was that different than what we did that last time when we built in the U.S.?
Well, the difference is in the U.S., you can go to a design center and pick from hundreds of different options on different things.
True.
Or a big box store that's going to have a lot of stuff. Here, you don't think of it so much as a big box store as a little country. And you search the country for your stuff you want.
Yes. Let's see, we went to several towns. Belize City was one.
Yeah, Spanish Lookout,
That's that right. They had a lot of Spanish Lookout.
Belmopan.
That's true. Even a small town like Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
And some of these towns were several hours away, 3 hours away, driving one way.
Yeah, which is basically almost end to end in Belize.
Yeah.
And it's not that they're that far away, it's that because of the speed bumps and the roads, it takes that long.
Right. Mm-hmm.
A beautiful drive, that's not a problem, but if you're going to be shopping, maybe have a layover where you do some one day and some the next, where you're not driving all in one day.
Yes, we did that once. It was beneficial.
Hey Chad, what are you doing just lounging around? We're supposed to be shopping.
Well, stores do close, and this was a nice place to spend some downtime.
I have to agree with you on that. It's been lovely to have a little time to relax and rejuvenate before hitting the road again on more shopping.
We stayed overnight at the Chaw Peck Resort. It was a great way to decompress after a long day of shopping. The cabanas are quite comfortable.
So we found, after looking several places for the stone, we found them 10 minutes away.
From our house than we are right now.
And it was the same stone that we could have gotten a couple of other places, but at a better price and local, where you are dealing with the artisan.
Speaking of artisans, they have such good quality workmanship here, craftsmen with wood or whether it's with stone. I'm really impressed.
Yeah. I always joke that you can't throw a rock here without hitting a Canadian. If you miss the Canadian, you'll hit a carpenter.
That's true. That's true. But they work with the Belizean wood, and it's really interesting. Our cabinet maker is, chopping down the tree. Once we say we want to make cabinets, then the tree is chopped down.
Yeah. Which means you have to order your cabinets early, and because the wood has to dry. If it doesn't dry long enough, it'll start splitting on you later.
Correct.
So you want your project to be efficient, but one of the efficiencies is order your cabinets early.
True.
That gives you a problem because now your house isn't built yet. They can't measure anything because the house isn't there to measure. Yet the blueprints are not precise enough for them to build cabinets they're going to fit with.
Right.
So they can't start building until they can get in and measure.
Right.
But they have to start drying that wood.
Right. So, and that's how they work. So they'll dry the wood on estimate on how much you need, and then when your house is far enough along, then they'll take the measurements. Same thing for the windows. I was really surprised. We got a quote for the windows. We have all the window openings and dimensions and doors and everything, and they're like, no, we won't even start until your windows are actually, I guess, the opening is there and plastered. Then they will come out to take the measurements before they start your project.
We found that out after doing the elaborate order and getting a specific quote, and then when we tried to pay the half down,
they were like, no.
Can't pay us yet.
Don't pay us yet. We haven't measured your openings yet. So that's okay.
Yeah. Well, you do find that because building takes so long here, the businesses are used to that.
Yes.
And so they will hold your order. They'll tell you for 6 months. We've talked to people that are in 13th month, 14th month, and it's not been a problem for them.
Right.
But You place your order, you give them a deposit, which is usually 50 or 60%, and then they put it in their warehouse and they hold it until you call them and say it's time to bring it.
Right. And when we say warehouse, for the most part, it's a shipping container on the back of their property. So it's different. And like we were talking about, the artisans, these are mom and pop run shops. They're not big corporations, so they don't have a very large footprint, nor do they have showrooms. There's a few showrooms. We did go to some stores that had displays of things, but a lot of times you'll go to a place that's building cabinets, for instance, and it's just a wooden shed back behind their house. But they're a very good cabinet maker. You wouldn't think it just looking upon the surroundings, but that's how they do it down here, and they're quite gifted in working with wood down here.
And you might have caught by now talking to me, I don't like to buy sight unseen.
No.
I don't like to buy without talking to references if it's an artisan, and without seeing finished product.
Right.
And we had some good references from people who just could not take us to a finished product because it was in somebody's house that was living there.
Right.
And we found one that had a bunch of rental properties, and he'd built the cabinets for that, and we were able to see his finished work, and that was the deciding factor on which cabinet maker we used.
True.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
So think about this: if you're building here, don't expect to go to one spot. You can find a sample of almost everything you need anywhere you go, honestly, if you're willing to just take what they have in stock.
Right.
We weren't. We want our house to be our design. So we shopped around until we found something we thought we really liked. That took more effort, and I think the effort will be worth it. Ask me again in 6 months.
Right. I view this, we've done this for several months, running around the countryside, and it's like a big scavenger hunt, running around Belize, trying to find the finishes that you want, and sometimes even trying to find the businesses, because not all businesses, they don't have addresses down here. So our granite guy, he was in a different town. And I said, okay, tell me your address or street. And there was no street, no address. He said, well, it's by the water tower. And I'm like, I've never been to the town. I don't know where the water tower is. But we found it based upon landmarks only. We found where he was located, and we bought from him.
You do find a great deal of construction competence here.
You do.
These people are in a building frenzy.
Right.
And so a lot of people have a lot of experience right now.
Right. And speaking of that, so we're talking about all this we're doing is for our concrete home that we're building. But if you're interested in doing what's called a Mennonite home, a wood home, the Mennonites have a fantastic reputation for making very good quality homes that they build either on site at your location, or they build it at their facility and then truck it in. These are small homes, but they're very economical, and a lot of people do use them.
Yeah, and for a fraction of the cost, except when you start to insure them. And then insurance on them is 3 times what it would be for a concrete construction, because windstorm can hit a wooden home harder than it does concrete home.
Okay, well, we're still in the process. We're about wrapped up finding all of our finishes on this big scavenger hunt, and we will update you on our progress as the build continues.
Here's some of the businesses that we visited when we're looking for items for our home. This is not the inclusive list. There are many others that you can shop at. We were not compensated by any of these businesses for this promotion. Thanks for watching. We appreciate your support in our channel.